All right, here we are. So thank you for taking our time this afternoon in Oracle Cloud Quarterly Update 19C webinar. So today, myself, Pradeep Venteru, and I have my colleague Amber Lomeli joining from the West Coast. She's also a certified Fusion consultant, senior consultant, and she will be covering a few scenarios as well. So as we did last time, we're gonna give a quick overview and then we'll spend about a good amount of time on the hands-on scenarios and how do we opt in, and we'll show a few live transactions. We'll show the benefits of the new features and so forth like that. And then we're gonna talk about all the good new features and associated items. So I will share my screen. And just to give an update, we already got the 19C update in our Peloton internal environment and a couple of other clients as well. We have been going through the release testing, the preliminary analysis, assessment, and a lot of feedback from different forums, and also we will cover those pieces at the end of the presentation. But to begin with, we're going to cover the release readiness documentation, what's new document, new feature summary document, and then there are a couple of videos on the spotlight of new features. And then we're going to go over the opt-in procedures, automatic and manual, and this opt-in expiration. And then we're going to get into the actual hands-on demo in our environment. We're going to show you the smoke testing plans and any questions. And also we'll cover the known issues and some of the challenges, some of the negative feedback or whatever from different group of ERP system users. Any questions on the agenda, folks? Okay, so as we covered last time, folks, most of you are already familiar with the quarterly updates. So they come every 3 months. With the release 13, it's no longer an annual update. It's been split into 4 updates now, spread out. Each client has their own schedule by their data centers and the availability and all. Any questions on this release cadence or anything? So basically, I'm sure everybody has access to the My Services and they have an understanding of when your next quarterly update will be. If you don't have that information, please let us know, and then we will be able to let you point in the right direction to get you access where we can monitor these kind of notifications. And also we will let you know how the cadence is looking on your pods. So just a glimpse again, release 13 onwards, it's quarterly updates, 19A, 19B, 19C, 19D. That's how they labeled these the quarterly updates. And right now we are going to talk about 19C because we are getting into the 3rd quarter. Not necessarily everybody will get the quarterly release update in the 1st month itself. Some people will get in the 2nd month, or some are tail enders in the last month. And also it all depends on your business approvals and also your needs and when you want it. You have some flexibility to change, but it also depends on your milestones, business events, period close procedures, quarter close. So it's very important to time it very well. In addition to the quarterly patch, it will also include the monthly patch bundle as well. So this is the notification that I was going to talk about. You will see this notification like a heads up on the schedule. Typically that goes into your non-production environment, and then 2 weeks after the production environment and all. And then the documentation is all in that notification link. We will cover the same documentation. Anybody has any questions how to get access to this kind of notifications or anything around that? If you have access to Oracle My Services login, you can get access to the identity domain credentials, and then we can add you as a user, and then going forward, you will receive these notifications. This includes not just the quarterly updates, any maintenance emails coming from cloud operations team or Oracle support and all. So this is the main release landing page. I'm sure people are already familiar with this main landing page, which we covered in our last webinars, but still we'll go through the same landing page. I already clicked on this piece, so I'm gonna go over. So once you click on that link, it will take you to the Oracle landing page, and here you will actually pick your product group based on what you have subscribed for. Our focus will be on the ERP, and then I know we have one client on the SCM, and there's one more client was interested as well, but we're gonna focus on the ERP, the major part, and then we're also going to talk about the supply chain as well. So looking into the ERP portfolio, within that we have financials and procurement. We're going to start talking about the financials. Again, folks who are joining this for the first time, who are not sure about this navigation and the landing and all. So it's pretty simplified, like it's by your product portfolio and then by the product, and then different subject areas and different platform and all. So here you can actually select between the versions. Nowadays, Oracle is grouping them between A, B, C. That's because of the latest provision of opt-in expiration, because they're grouped together. So it's always good to have like, okay, what was coming from the previous release, now no longer a manual, and things like that. So that's the reason they have grouped. So once you select the right one, and I recommend this video just like a very high level to get a grip on like high level, like what is this readiness content and like what's good to read and all that. So in that, basically they have broken into two main parts: what's new, a mandatory read, and also supplemental content. And also our focus will be more on the essential content, like financials, common, and expiration. So I'm going to quickly skim through some features on the financials, folks. 19C again. And then this is was created in June, and this will be continuously updated, and they actually don't reflect the dates, but we have seen differences from last month to this month and all. So this is a very high level opt-in uptake new features. This is the one that I have demonstrated last time, where you basically have two ways of going in and opting the features and all. So the way we have planned this demo is basically we're going to give a quick high level overview of all the new features, and then we have actually highlighted a few slides, for instance, like this, like financial key features and all. So we will go over all the main points, and then we're also going to demonstrate on these key features where we have tested, we have the feedback, and also the preliminary setups are in place so that the base configurations are complete and you see a full flow. Any questions, folks, on the layout and the flow of our next steps? The intent is basically to give a quick overview and then gonna get into the details of the new features demonstration. So here are some financial key features. We're gonna talk about streamlining copy of fixed asset adjustments to the tax book, and then we have a couple of really cool features on the cash management. We will be demonstrating both of them live in our Peloton system. And then another cool feature is the expenses Google Maps integration with the mileage expenses. And then we have auto post general process approver submitter, that's on the GL front, and we have a couple of scenarios and new features on the payables. We'll be demonstrating the positive pay file enhancement. What is it about? How is it going to be used? And then we also have an option to now, delivery option of separate remittance advice for payer notification in a form of attachment PDF and all. And then if you are an AR user, deliver balance forward bills using emails. Similarly, on the procurement standpoint, we have a couple of nice features on the grouping of order generation by supplier agreement. Let's say if you are using blanket purchasing agreement and you are gonna place multiple orders in a day, you can actually consolidate them and put into one PDF, and you could do that. And then you also have a provision to generate purchase orders by ship to location now. So this is one other new area. And then the really cool thing that I like in the procurement is like you can actually route your purchasing documents for approval based on employment attributes like job, grade, level. Just like accounts payable, the procurement or the purchasing or the purchase order workflows have been enhanced to get that attributes into your workflow so that you could use them instead of like a user and all, you can actually continue the same approach that you are using on the accounts payable front. And on the self-service procurement, this is another cool feature. You can now search for requisitions based on by item or supplier on the managed requisitions page. Initially, you did not have this provision because you had to go by the default procurement requisition unit. And that's how you were limited, but now it opened up. You can actually query by the supplier from the managed requisitions page. We're going to demonstrate that. And then this is another heavy duty feature. This is like a linking from the drill down OTBI reports back to the supplier profile page where people wanted to make some adjustments for quicker and fast responses and back and forth. There is a nice drill down and pull back options from the BI publisher all the way back to the application. And if you use the SQM module, the duplicate initiatives is one new feature and all. Any questions on the financials and procurement key features? Again, we will talk about all this like in the document wise. We don't want to spend too much time just going through all this, because last time we have been asked if we can spend more time demonstrating those new features. And workflow transaction listing report is another nice feature where you can actually pull up that particular schedule process. You can select the workflow. You can see how you can actually select your report type, business unit, supplier, and then you can actually pull that particular workflow listing report in an Excel sheet or in a PDF and all. Again, I will show you this, this workflow transaction listing report as well. Any questions on the core or common ones? And then I can go into the each subject area wise, but pretty much we have covered on the main ones. I would like to highlight on this Google Maps integration for mileage expenses. That basically this needs an additional purchase, it seems. So we were talking to Oracle the other day, and they clarified that in order to use this, you need to purchase something like an API gateway into the Oracle ERP so that you can actually calculate your mileage within your Oracle expenses based on the distance and like all that mileage and all, just so that people are aware. So with this, I would like to turn it to Amber for a live demo.
Real quick on the on the procurement section.
Yes.
When you talked about the purchasing documents for approval, what documents are we talking specifically? Is that in the requisitions module, or are we talking about separate approvals for POs themselves?
Yeah, so basically that covers both requisitions and the purchase orders, I believe. So I will be going into that particular demonstration and will show you that. The only complication right now is if we have to demonstrate that end to end, it will need to basically redesign our existing workflow to have those grades available and all. But we can quickly show you how that looks like and all. Okay. Any further questions, folks? Again, this is high level. Now we're going to talk about the actual scenarios, like demonstration wise and all. Again, if you have questions, like we will share all this content with you. You can come back with any questions on any new feature you feel like you need more information, or you are interested, or your business wants to explore more details on. Okay. All right, Amber, I'm going to pass it on to you. You can share your screen, and then let's go through the financials, new features.
Okay, sounds good. So let's see. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to opt in to some of these features, or all of these features. Some need opting in and some don't. So there's a couple ways to get there, but one of the easiest ways is you just go to your navigator, My Enterprise, and New Features. You know, our navigator looks a little different, but you can come up here and narrow it down so you don't have any extra in here. I just go to financials, and you could see all of the different options we have for 19C. So some of these things are already opted in for us, and you could see the little green check marks that they're enabled. But I am going to show you this one right here, which is assign user conversion rate for cash external transactions. So we'll go ahead and opt into this. You click on your little arrow. And then you could see everything for cash management and banking comes up. So you have all of the ones that you can opt into. So I'm going to actually select two of these. This is the one I'm going to demo, and then this other one as well. This is segregate the privilege to maintain or to manage bank account security.
Amber, can you just give a quick context overview on these two new features before getting into the demo, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
So assign user conversion rate for cash external transactions. This one, if you have a foreign currency bank account, you can now go into the external transactions for cash management and use a user spot rate. So you can change your rate right there for conversions to convert the money, so you can see it right there. You no longer have to rely on other things to convert it for you. This is now available to you. The segregate the privilege to manage bank account security is actually very important. It's a great new security feature. You can go into the bank account and select who you want to see these bank accounts. So right now, pretty much everybody who has a specific role can view the bank accounts. But if you say, okay, I don't want anybody to view this operating account, only the people who work in cash management or only the people who work in payables can see this, you can go and add that role so that role can see it, or you can also add specific users. Okay, so right now these are both enabled. And then to enable them, you just click done once they're checked. Okay, so that's it. Just to enable, anybody have questions on enabling? Okay, so pretty simple. I'm going to go back to the home page so we can view the cash management areas we just enabled. So I'm going to click on cash management and then go to bank statements and reconciliation. And then here I'm going to go to the taskbar and I'm going to select create transaction. This is underneath external cash transactions. So some people use this. I do have some clients that use it. Can be very helpful for some of those extra bank fees, or if there's an outside check or a wire transfer that happened, you can always use this. So it has to be a foreign currency bank account. So this one is a foreign currency bank account. You can see here, it's not USD. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in an amount, type in what you need to, and here is the area that pops up for you now. So you can select if you want user, spot, corporate, whatever you want to put in there, and you can put your rate. So that is now available. Before, this was not an option. It was not there.
Yeah, and then basically like all these days you had an option of like either picking corporate or coming from your different platform and all, but you never had an option to give a user rate. Like some cash managers or some cash heads, they would like to have their own manual conversion rate. So that's the feature that is available now.
Okay, and then from here, just save and close. And now you have your external transaction in there. Now I'll go ahead and show you the other one for cash management, the bank accounts. So from here, we'll go to setup and maintenance. And we'll go to financials. Manage bank accounts. Just search for some bank accounts here. So what you're going to do is select the bank account that you want to add security on and just edit. And you're going to come over to this security tab. So on this security tab, you're now going to have this option here. So you check it, and then this will become available. So if you don't have that checked, you're not going to be able to click on it. You need to check on secure bank account by users and roles. So you'll go ahead and select an add. And here you can select by user or by role. So I'm going to go ahead and search for cash manager role. You can see here is the cash manager role. So everybody who has this role will have access to this bank account. You just click OK, and that's going to be in your security. So whoever doesn't have access to cash manager role will not have access to this bank account. They won't be able to view it. Any questions on this one? Okay. So that's definitely a good indicator for your security, making sure everything is, kept tight.
Right, and also gives the extra layer of security control to monitor your subledgers or your AP side of it. Like, hey, we want only specific users to have access to these bank accounts instead of role. You can actually give access by the users too. So which gives extra layer of security and more control on the bank accounts access.
These next two that I'm going to show you, they're for payables. These are actually already opted in. So let me go ahead and show you new features. This is something you're not going to have to go in and opt in if you want to use this feature. It's going to already be there for you. So we can just scroll down to see if we find it in here. Here's your Google Maps for mileage if you're going to look into getting that done. Positive pay. Here we go. So here's the positive pay enhancement. And as you can see, there's no opt-in button. It's already enabled. So you don't have to worry about coming in and doing that one. And then also for the separate remittance advice enhancements, this is also already opted in. And you can see the ones that we did opt in still have that option to click on it. So you could still go see it. It's still an option. And you can also uncheck it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you payables now. These next two features, the positive pay one, if you do have connections set up with your banking and your positive pay file transmits automatically, this will be something you can use. So I'm going to go to payables and payments. And say you created your positive pay through your payment process request. And you went through, everything looks good, but the file didn't transmit. So you want to come over and create your positive pay file and also transmit it. I'm not sure what's happening with this page.
I can check Amber and see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, just to see if it comes up on my end. You can stop sharing. I'm able to log in, and
Okay.
you could ask control and we could go from there. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so basically this is our Peloton internal 19C environment. And so here we are. Amber, you wanna request control?
Yeah.
There we go. So I'm already on the payment process request page. Yeah, could go ahead.
Okay, and then we can go here and create positive pay file.
Yeah.
And if you had a payment process in here, this will, you can drop it down and it will show you which one you can select. You can choose your from and to date, allow sending replacement copy, and if you want to do all payments or just voided or negotiable. But this is now an option. When you do select this here, you'll have a little checkbox here. And you'll just check if you want to also transmit this file. So then that will automatically connect with your bank if you have that all set up and send your positive pay over. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go to suppliers. And I will show you where to set up the new feature for that one. So I'm going to go to procurement, suppliers. I'm going to go ahead and choose a supplier. Okay, and then on your, you could do this on your profile, on your address, on your site, but we'll go ahead and look at this on the profile. You're going to click on the payments tab, and now all the different levels have these tabs, has the payment methods, bank accounts, and then payment attributes is what you want to click on. And then from there, you're going to click on separate remittance advice delivery. And this is where you can change it now to email with PDF as attachment. And then you would just type in the email address here. And then whenever you, if you have this set up, whenever you send out your remittance, your email will go out with a PDF attachment. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. So those are the 4 demonstrations for financials. As Pradeep was saying, for expenses for the Google Maps integration, it's a really cool feature that we were able to see, but definitely requires a little bit of setup and also another purchase to integrate that Google Maps. So you could just put in your address and point from, okay, I'm starting here at this location. What's my calculated distance to this location? And it will give you your exact mileage on Google Maps.
All right, great. Any questions, folks, on the financial features? And then we can move to procurement as well. All right, no worries. So we covered this financials. Now we're gonna talk about the procurement one and all. So the route purchasing documents for approval using employment. So basically this is for the PO documents. I'm gonna quickly show you. But like I said, we don't have the full workflow because that's update to the existing workflow. So we will not have full access to it, but I'm gonna quickly go over that particular link and show you like what are the attributes that we have that we can leverage to add into our workflow. So the best way is like all these days you had this job like the threshold levels, like the dollar limits and all, like specific cost center or program code and all that stuff. But you did not have an option to actually put in these attributes of job name or job level or grade or department. A lot of clients use the procurement workflows. So this is like really one good area where you can actually add these attributes and then enhance your PO workflow or your requisition and all. I think at this point they have enabled it for the purchasing documents and all. And we're going to do some regressing testing around the requisition workflows as well. But as far as I know, I think we are getting feedback that it's available in multiple areas. But again, we'll have to see. Like for instance, you see this route purchase requisitions for approval using grade. So which is exactly I'm talking about. So even in your requisitions, you have your preparer department, grade, again, the requester department and grade. So you could have 2 types of requesters, right? Like, either preparer or requester. So based on these attributes, you can customize and modify your workflows and control the approval flows. Any questions, folks? But this requisition one, there are a good amount of setup needs to be done. There is a separate document and also basically you're touching on your main workflow and you're adding a few steps to enable it before incorporating these attributes into the system and start using them in your workflows. Pretty straightforward. We can help you out if you have any questions. Any questions on this? And the other one that I was going to talk about is search for requisitions by item or by supplier on the manage requisitions page. So I'm going to show you 2 environments. The first is a 19B environment where there was a simple you did not have an option with the search by the the item number or by supplier. And now you have an option. So I'll quickly show you the procurement, purchase requisitions. This is again within our Peloton internal. I don't know what happened there, but I'm gonna try logging again. But it sounds like it just resolved. When I hit resend, this came back fine. Maybe I just click OK. So manage requisitions. So you see this 2 new filters were not there until the 19C. With this, basically you have now, you can search like, I want to see ABC. I don't know if it's there or not. But if I do integrated, yeah, so something like that. You could actually search requisitions by your supplier. I don't know if we have that because we don't use procurement internally much. We have other system, but you could actually say, give me Comcast. Not there. Okay, so ADP is a perfect one. Actually, advanced, let's see. And then you can search all the requisitions against it. So again, in our case, we don't have much. That's why nothing is coming up. So you can also do by search by the item number. So this may be a good exercise to check for Grace Bio folks. So see if you want to search by the item number or anything on your manager acquisitions page if you use this functionality.
Yeah, we would definitely use it. I'm curious on the supplier search. Is that field going? Is that searching against a supplier that a PO assigned against a previous requisition, or is it searching for the suggested supplier from the requisition?
Yeah, this is more like full list of suppliers, but it will only come up with our associated with your requisitions or POs and all. So that's why like I can still select it, for instance, that advanced or whatever, but I was not able to show because there's no active POs for that particular one.
Yeah, I know that they are separate data fields managed in different tables, that the requisition suggests a supplier,
right?
And
yeah,
the PO supplier. So.
But this was a long pending. Like some clients have even went to the extent of adding these as a customization fields on this page, and some clients have added some extra custom roles as to how we can provision this one and all. Depending on your business need, you might benefit from it, because the other way people were going was through the purchase orders as a buyer. Like you have to go in and basically giving full access to like manage orders or manage suppliers and all that. So which people did not like. They still wanted to keep it within the requisitions page. So I see it as a great value there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very helpful.
Yep, great, thanks. And the next one that I wanted to talk about was yeah, the navigate to supplier one. So again, this involves a lot of setups. There is a separate document to go over, but I quickly wanted to show you like what this is about. So when you are in BI reports and you have actually created an OTBI report to query all of your suppliers, or if there is a data model report, a BI publisher report with all the list of suppliers, the drill down was primarily available within like GL balances, AP subledgers and all, but not in the supplier base area. So this is how you link it with the application, so that from the report itself, you can drill and come back into the supplier profile page. For instance, this supplier, you click on it, it will take you to the actual supplier profile page, exactly like you would navigate in the application, and then where you could actually get all the details instead of opening a separate window and back and forth and all. So again, that's a great feature to avoid back and forth. This definitely involves this document to go through and all. Any questions, folks? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go over some known issues so that we can get familiar with the issues log and some of the wider audience or some other user bases experiencing issues or defects and all, but what we have been fixed, or maybe there is a workaround. I'm going to quickly cover the financials piece. Again, this is like not covering everything. Again, Oracle support is the best way to get the latest issues, but whatever have been published, you could quickly check it. So for instance, there was one issue around the budgetary control. Whenever the expense management is enabled, the Q balance was not going out. This is for purely general ledger budgeting control. There is a workaround for it if you use that feature. And then this is one area where we have seen some issues. The Financial Reporting Studio client, like, you know, your on your desktop, you will install that FRS client. So that was failing to open from the workspace tools menu and all. So basically what the workaround that Oracle is suggesting is launch the FRS client from the Windows programs and then try to log in. So that way you're not entering through the application, and that is prone to be working. All right. And then the Web Studio, something happened with the 19C update. So they are not working from the UI again. So they are again asking us to see the configure client for users section, basically reconfiguring that particular Studio client so that you can still access your FRS Web Studio. On the subledger accounting, there are like incorrect adjustment periods in the journal spreadsheet. There is a workaround. If you are creating subledger journals in adjusting period, use the create subledger journals page instead of create subledger spreadsheet. So there is something funky going on with the spreadsheet. In the meantime, use the UI. Third party merge account does not transfer to the new third party. So this is like within the subledger accounting options task, there is a task where you can enter your manual subledger and then go from there. Some clients have reported the create accounting process reporting an error if there is a gain and loss journal line in your journal entry rules set. This is again like one of your accounting methods. If you have that, then you might run into these issues in this scenario. If you run, then basically replace that particular gain loss journal line with a different short name and you'll be fine. Those are the main things that stood out, which were like a roadblocks and all. And this is again part of the July maintenance pack. I'm sure there will be more in the August maintenance pack as well, which will be rolling in all the latest issues coming from the July 3rd week through your, whatever the cutoff date for your August and all. So if you are a future client with 19C update, most likely you will see more additional fixes that will be included as part of the quarterly pack and monthly patch. Any questions, folks? Pretty straightforward. I just wanted to give a quick overview in terms of like what are some of the issues that Oracle Public is using. And then we have similarly on the procurement side, and also procurement side, I have not seen much. Generally, the date and time formats are overridden in a response line spreadsheet. This is in their supplier portal work area. If you are not using supplier portal, this may not be applicable to you. Supplier model, like users are not allowed to say tax registration number. Again, this is also a part of your supplier portal and all in the same base area. So they are basically asking us to not configure the tax validation level as warning. If a validation is required, then configure it as an error, just like an additional parameter. Okay, and some of the issues that we have encountered during our smoke testing or internal release testing plans are, we have seen some slow performance issues around the application, like when you click on heavy duty transactions like subledgers entry or like drill down from OTBI to the application, the response rate has not been great. Again, we are working with Oracle and we might have some answers. They have acknowledged it and they said they are working to improvise the solution. I'm sure it will be fixed in the next few days or at least a week, because a lot of clients are experiencing that. You can reach out if you run into any performance issues or anything, and we will work with Oracle and we will straighten out. Other than that, we have not seen any crazy issues, pretty much straightforward. We are running through our regression plans at this point. They're in draft mode. I don't have a fully revised and published smoke test plans yet, but all the clients who got patched this past weekend with the 19C update, we are going through the release testing plans, and we will keep you posted on the updates, issues, defects, or any outstanding SRs. In the meantime, we recommend each one of you to go through this release documentation, essential guides and supplemental guides, and also there are some videos here that you can go through. Any questions, folks? Like, we could use the next few minutes for our question and answers. Any suggestions? Any feedback?
So opt-in is going to be available after the test environment's updated.
Yeah, so once your environment gets patched to that patch level 19C, then you will see those opt-ins, and then based on that opt-in, like whatever that feature is immediately available into that particular pod. And then you have 2 weeks to test and then do the same thing in your production. But some of the features are automatically enabled where you don't have to do anything. Does that answer your question, Dale?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Anything else, folks?
Pradeep, this is Orhan. How do you want to share this presentation so that the rest of our finance team can watch it too? Where would we get the recording?
Yeah, I will check with my ops team. They were trying to put it on our website so that you could access through that. In the meantime, I will ask them if there is a workaround. But I'll pass the deck out and the essential documentation and all the good reads, and then I'll follow up with the recording access.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, folks? I know some of you are still not patched, but you have some time. But this is a good time to explore all these new features, talk to your business, and say like, hey, here are some of the new things that are coming up. And one simple thing that came up this morning was, if you're an administrator and you might see some UI changes on the security console and things like that. Nothing major, like for instance, they grouped some icons and, nothing substantial. For instance, like this, compare, create role, and also they're changing the icons and all. Any questions, folks? Yeah, see how they go at the top now. It used to be somewhere here, and they have make it bigger so that they stand out and all. Again, we continue to learn more from user base and different clients. We will keep you posted in our weekly or bi-weekly check-in calls as to what we are hearing from other customers or other general audience or general users. We are part of different networks, so we will share that feedback with you folks. But in the meantime, we recommend to go over all these links and let us know if you have any questions or if you need any additional demo or some follow-up questions, and we are happy to assist. finally, any more questions, folks, before we wrap up?
Thank you, Pradeep.
I'd like to thank you one and all for joining this session. Hopefully it was beneficial, and we will follow up with all the documentation and deck out.
Thank you.
All right, sure. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.